Do all of this to stop your procrastination in your life. This is chapter 11 of the 5-Second Rule book written by Mel Robbins. I'll be reading chapter 11 and procrastination now. Here we go. Chapter 11 and procrastination. To begin. William Wordsworth. The 5-Second Rule is an incredible weapon in the fight against procrastination. Before we dig into how we use it, we need to define procrastination. What is it and what it isn't? In researching this book, I was shocked when I learned what causes procrastination. I had it all wrong. I was also surprised to learn there are two kinds of procrastination. Distractive procrastination, which is when you avoid tasks you need to complete, and productive procrastination, which is an important part of any creative process. Let's start with the good kind. Productive procrastination. If you're working on a creative project or an innovative idea, research shows that procrastination is not only good, but it is also important. The creative process takes time. So when you set a project aside for a few days or weeks, your mind can wander. That extra time spent mental wandering gives you the ability to come up with more creative, divergent ideas that enhance your project. Productive procrastination was a hugely liberating concept for me to learn, especially while struggling to write this book. Before I learned about productive procrastination, I beat myself up constantly because I kept feeling burnt out. I had writer's block, and I thought it meant I was a bad writer, lazy or incapable. In truth, a creative process of this magnitude just took time. My mind needed breaks and time to wander. It took me 7 months, longer than I thought it would, to finish the book, and the book is 100 times better for it. If you're not getting the results that you want, give the project some time. Go focus your energy somewhere else, and then come back later with fresh eyes. So if you're wandering on a creative project and you don't have a fixed deadline, it's not procrastination. If you let your work sit for a few weeks so you can let your mind wander, it's the creative process. Those fresh new ideas you have as you procrastinate productively will make your work even smarter. Distractive procrastination. Distractive procrastination is an entirely different animal. It's when we avoid the work we need to get done and know there will be negative consequences. This habit really comes back to bite you in the end. Every one of us has a pile of stuff we can't seem to get to. Updating photo albums, analyzing a spreadsheet, finishing a proposal, cleaning out dad's house, or plowing through a to-do list that grow your business. It's anything that we find ourselves deliberately avoiding that really needs to get done. Evelyn found herself procrastinating and beating herself up. I have questioned everything about myself for years. She put the rule into effect, and it's been amazing. Once she discovered 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, Evelyn was able to push past her questioning and just got things done, impressing even herself. Mel, I got up yesterday. After I put the rule into effect, I have questioned everything about myself for years. I stop, I'm nothing, I'm something. I cleaned my living room, kitchen, dining room, did 7 loads of laundry, and I was amazing. That's just the beginning. I impressed myself. I signed up. My husband is signed up, and I'm ready to move. She probably didn't know why she was procrastinating. Most of us don't. For a long time, everyone believed procrastination meant poor time management skills, a lack of willpower, or lack of self-discipline. Why were we wrong? Procrastination is not a form of laziness at all. It's a coping mechanism for stress. Procrastination and the connection to stress. Timothy Pyshall, a psychology professor at Carleton University, has been studying procrastination for more than 19 years. Dr. 𝕊𝕐𝕠𝕟𝕕 has found that the main thing driving procrastination is not avoiding work, it's avoiding stress. Procrastination is a subconscious desire to feel good right now, so you can feel a little stress relief. A common mistake we all make is thinking that people make a deliberate choice to procrastinate. In fact, most people who struggle with procrastination tell researchers that they feel like they have no control over it. And they are right, because they don't understand the real reason why we procrastinate. We procrastinate because we feel stressed out. Here's the catch. You aren't stressed out about the work. You are stressed about the bigger stuff, money, relationship problems, or life in general. When you blow off work or studying for 15 minutes of online shopping or watching the highlights of last night's game, you are taking a mini stress break from the bigger stress you feel very overall. It's like emotional eating for the mind. When you avoid something that feels hard, you get a sense of relief. Plus, when you do something you enjoy, like surfing Facebook or laughing at viral videos, you get a short-term boost of dopamine. The more often that you procrastinate, the more likely you will repeat the behavior. Here's the problem. While you get a small boost of relief when you watch cat videos, over the time, the work that you are avoiding builds and that creates more stress in your life. Scott is an excellent example of this. He wrote to me because he wanted help getting out of his own head. He shared that everyone close to him has always said, "I'm the only thing that is holding me back." And they are right. Scott is a PhD student performing research in a physiology lab. He is married, and he and his wife just had their first child, who is the most beautiful boy. He described his life like this. Everything at home is incredible despite lots of financial stress, which would be expected. Considering that I'm in school, my issue is that in my daily life and branching into school/lab work, I have trouble fulfilling obligations, which is starting to become a problem. Basically, I put things off continuously until it reaches the point where I've either missed a deadline or it upsets someone. I have very high expectations for myself, and I literally go to sleep every night telling myself that tomorrow is going to be that fresh start that I need, and I'm going to tackle everything with tons of energy. But then I fail day after day, and that confidence in overcoming this by myself is starting to fade. Basically, I don't feel like I'm living anywhere near my full potential, and it's frustrating. Reading Scott's note, you can see that he's trapped in a vicious cycle of feeling disappointed in himself. I can totally relate because that's how I felt as I was struggling to get out of bed on time. Scott knows what he needs to do, attack the work and get it done, but he can't seem to make himself to do it. Scott's note gives me a chance to explain what's actually going on when you procrastinate. He told us that he and his wife are under a lot of financial stress. That financial stress doesn't feel good. It also explains the reason why he procrastinates. To get temporary relief from many stress. Remember that when we replace difficult tasks with doing something easier, we get a temporary mood boost and a feeling of control. It seems counterintuitive, but the reason why Scott keeps blowing off the stuff he needs to do at the lab is because he wants relief from the financial stress he feels in his life. So how on earth does he stop this? Luckily, there's 3 simple and research-backed steps. And the 5-second rule will help you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 do them. Whether you're avoiding work like Scott, cleaning like Evelyn, or exercising like 𝕊𝕐𝕠𝕟𝕕 once was. You can use the rule to beat procrastination every time. 𝕊𝕐𝕠𝕟𝕕. Mel Robbins, saw you speak this week at LTEN. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I have walked out every day since. Forgive yourself. The first thing research tells us, you need to forgive yourself for procrastinating. Seriously, this isn't kumbaya. This is science. Remember, our expert from Carleton University, Dr. Paishal, co-authored a paper about how students who forgive themselves for procrastinating were less likely to procrastinate on their next task. Next test. Sounds silly, but part of the problem that psychologists have uncovered is that procrastinators are really hard on themselves to begin with. Trishki, after she was able to forgive, she changed her life. Trishki, the 5-second rule. Go watch Mel Robbins. It will change your life. You won't feel sorry for yourself anymore like I used to. Reach your goals, live your dreams. Instead of beating herself up, she's no longer procrastinating. Amazing. You may also relate to Ryan, who wrote to me about being in the beginning stages of starting a new business. He said that as much as he wants in this venture to work, it amazes me how hard it is to force myself to spend time on it and actually do it due to the fear of failure. Ryan, just watch your tech talk. My impulse was to look you up and make a connection with you, so I done it. I'm in the beginning stages of starting a new product-related business, and it was just searching the internet for validation that I'm doing the right thing by just going for it. I'm not a wealthy person, so as much as I want it to work, it amazes me how hard it is to force myself to spend and actually do it due to the fear of failure. You talk definitely motivated. Me, and win or lose, at least I'm doing something. Thanks for doing what you do. We are grateful. I love what he said at the end. Win or lose, at least I'm doing something. It takes a lot of bravery to be able to get honest with yourself and admit how hard it is to focus on what you need to do. Another perfect example is our PhD student in the lab, Scott. Remember what he wrote? He said he has very high expectations for himself. Every time he procrastinates, he feels shame and guilt. Those negative feelings then create even more stress for Scott, as his confidence in overcoming this by myself is starting to fade, which causes him to feel even more stress and procrastinate even more. So let's apply this advice to Scott. Step number 1. Stop the struggle by forgiving yourself. Scott, you've got to take 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Forgive yourself for upsetting people, falling behind, and not working to fulfill your potential. If you can recognize that your stress about finances are driving the procrastination at the lab, now you've got a chance to assert yourself and take control. By the way, you want to take control so you can achieve your goals, and that person you hope to become can help you right now. That leads us to step 2. What would the future you do? Allow me to explain. Dr. Paishal's team has been doing a lot of research on our present self versus our future self. Our future self is the person that we want to become. Interestingly, research proves that when you picture the future you, it gives you the objectivity to push yourself in the present moment. In experiments, when researchers show people their own pictures digitally aged, they are more likely to save for retirement. I guess that's an explanation for why vision boards work. They help you envision the future you, and that is a great coping mechanism for the stress you experience today as the present you. So Scott, create a vision board or a mental image of what your life looks like when all this grad school stress is behind you and you are Professor Scott. The moment you feel yourself procrastinating, just ask yourself, what would Professor Scott do? This leads us to step 3. Get started with the 5-second rule. Finally, once you understand the source of procrastination, Dr. Paishal's favorite advice is just get started. He's not the only one talking about the importance of starting. One of the most important ways to create new habits, according to researchers, is to create a starting ritual. There's no better starting ritual than the 5-second rule. Now that I understand the science of all this, I can explain why just get started works. If procrastination is a habit, you have to replace the bad behavior pattern, avoidance, with a new positive one, getting started. The moment you feel yourself hesitate, doing easier tasks or avoiding hard work, use the rule 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push yourself to start the important thing you need to do. Getting started takes us back to our engineer at Cisco and the concept of a locus of control. Procrastination makes you feel like you have no control over yourself. When you assert yourself and just get started, you are taking control of the moment and your life. Daniela feels empowered and capable when she puts the rule into practice, showing us that the benefits of beating procrastination expand beyond work and into the more important areas of improving my relationship with myself. My relationship with myself has improved. I trust myself more. I feel empowered and capable. It has become my mantra. Do something now. Thanks, Mel. As I explained throughout the book, exerting effort with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 switches the gears in your mind and allows the prefrontal cortex to help you get started. Each time you use the rule, it will get easier and easier to stop procrastinating and just start. Just as I found out, telling yourself to just make the call, reply the email, finish the stupid job, and start is the secret to completing anything important. Sigh. Dear Mel, I'm writing to say thank you. It is about your presentation on TED Talk. I watched it about a few months ago. After that, I am keep telling myself, just make the call, reply the email, finish the stupid job. I don't like it, but it helps me to get what I want. I am glad that I have done a huge project after getting this habit. Thank you so much for that amazing presentation. Even though she doesn't like doing it, she's formed the habit of taking action anyway and has completed a huge project with this mindset and will get what I want. In Scott's case, back in the lab, he can use the rule to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and push himself to work for a short interval of time. Now that he realizes the source of his procrastination, financial stress, he has forgiven himself an extremely important step. Once he is picturing the future Dr. Scott, he can start counting to assert control, physically move to his desk, and begin walking. When he finds himself getting off track, when he finds that, he can count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 again. The rule makes it easier to just get going, something that will help Scott gain control of his work and feel better equipped to deal with his other financial stresses head on. Andre also used the rule to push past procrastination and act to his goals. Andre is 16 years old, but he's already learning how to beat procrastination and is starting to write a book. He said that he always had excuses, that he wasn't ready, too busy, not too smart enough. The rule helped him to get past those excuses, and now he's taking action on his book. Andre, I began to rely on an urge to act on my ideas, which led to my involvement in BZ Change, a club with a focus in community service, which I am now president of. I also took action in reaching out to colleagues, and acting on my immediate academic goals. Many of my recent achievements were possible because I chose to engage in that idea within the 5 seconds I had the impulse. My objective now is to write a book, an impulse I had never taken the time to act on because I always had an excuse. I wasn't ready. I was too busy. I'm not smart enough. This rule helped me to get past those excuses by taking the initiative to simply write down my goal and build on it. Every time I saw that sticky note about focusing my creativity on writing a book, I took a step, I tried something, it changed my life. Andre showed us that at any age and with any goal, we have the power to own ourselves. Look inside, take a step, try something, and change my life. The reason why just starting is so important is because you will also be tapping into what researchers call the progress principle, which describes the phenomenon that forward progress of any kind, including small wins, boosts our mood and increases our happiness and productivity levels. On top of that, once you start a project, you will have triggered a mechanism in your brain to cue you to keep at it. As I mentioned earlier, researchers have found out that the brain remembers unfinished tasks better than the finished ones. Once you start, your mind will keep nudging you to finish it. I also told you that my snooze button habit was a form of procrastination. Now I understand why. It gave me momentary relief from the largest stresses in my life. That's why I hid it. When I reflect back, I see now that I broke that habit by creating a starting ritual, the 5-second rule. My snooze button habit got replaced with a positive new one, counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then standing up and starting the day. 7 years later, I still count backwards to launch myself out of bed every single morning. So in turn, here's how you can most effectively use the 5-second rule to beat the procrastination. Use it to make yourself start. Start small. Attack what you are avoiding for just 15 minutes at a time. Then take a break and watch a few cat videos. And for crying out loud, give yourself a break for blowing things off until now. You're only human. All of this stuff is common sense. You eat the elephant in the room one bite at a time. What we are learning over and over in this book is that unless you beat the feelings that trigger your bad habits and you push yourself to just get started, you will never change. You will either find a way or you will find an excuse. That is all for today, guys. I will be reading part 4 and chapter 12 tomorrow, so make sure to follow, subscribe, like, share, and comment anything you want to know. This is Danny the Reader. See you on the next one.